Howdy, this is Jerry with Texas Victory Garden. In today's episode, we'll be talking about how to plant sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are not planted like your normal vegetables with seed. Instead, they're going to be planted through slips. What a slip is you have a sweet potato, and from the sweet potato, you always see the eyes coming out when you buy them at the grocery store. Or if you've had them at home for a while, the eyes will be growing out. That eye will form into what they call a slip. It'll basically be a stem with leaves on it. Well, what you do is you're going to break that stem off and you plant that directly in the garden. And from there it'll grow out. So the way that you can get the slips is, well, of course you can go to your nursery and they sell the slips there. And you can take those slips from the nursery, plant them directly in the garden. Another way to do it is to go to the grocery store, your local grocery store, and make sure you get organic sweet potatoes, and you take the sweet potato and you put it in a jar of water. And what that's going to do is it'll start to grow roots below it, and on top it'll grow slips. And the slips, once they get big enough, then you can tear off from the base of the slip and plant the slip into the garden. Now, I have a different situation here because I already planted sweet potatoes last year, so I have the advantage of already having sweet potatoes in my compost. And what they did is they went ahead and sprouted on their own in the compost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the slips that are already big enough, I'm going to take them off right now and put them in directly into the garden. And the ones that are not big enough yet, where the leaves have not gotten to the size about 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches wide, they're not ready to be planted directly in the garden yet because they're not hardy enough. I'm going to take those sweet potatoes that from the compost that are growing the slips already but not quite big enough. I'm going to place those in the water, jar of water, and they're going to wait till they grow, and then I'm going to go ahead and plant those in the garden. So here's what the sweet potato will look like once you get it in the water and going. This part will be your slip, and this other part, this is the sweet potato itself. And then down here you'll have roots coming off also. But as you can see, that's the slip, that's the sweet potato, and there's the roots. So whenever it's big enough, whenever the leaves get a good size, which they're not right now, they're still pretty small as you can tell, we're going to go ahead and either tear it off right here at the base of the potato, or we can cut it off. And we're going to take this whole thing right here, maybe take off a couple of these leaves down here, and we're going to plant this whole section underneath the ground. You don't want the leaves on there, you don't want to plant the leaves, so you're going to tear a couple of the leaves off and plant all this with this portion above the ground and this portion underneath. What's going to happen is it'll start to grow new roots underneath the ground. So once you tear off the slip from your sweet potato, it's going to look a lot like this. And you've got roots down here and no leaves. I might tear off a couple more leaves and then plant this. This one actually isn't ready yet. The leaves are not big enough. So I'm going to leave it in the water for a few more days, and then I'll go ahead and plant it in the garden. So here I'm in the garden. I just planted 2 potato slips yesterday from my compost heap. These had been sweet potatoes that I'd taken out of the garden from just a couple months ago actually. Put them in there into the compost heap, and they started to grow the slips out of there. And so this is about the size they are right now. As you can see, they're a good size. I just planted them yesterday. So you just basically cut them at the base of the potato and then stick them in there, cover them up, cover them with water, and then they'll start to grow out just like ivy.